Baby.
Can you turn off for a second, please?
It's about us right now, girl. Where are you going? I'm with you.
Come on. What's up, guys? Now we're just playing with you guys, but today we are doing a long distance story time slash tips and tricks. She's wilding out over here, don't know what's going on. So if you guys don't know, we actually have been in a long distance relationship for how long? About 3 months.
Yeah.
We were long distance for about 3 months.
So we know that a lot of our viewers are in high school or in college, and some of you guys are in this situation or are about to be in a long distance relationship. So we just wanted to share our experience and what we learned from our journey together. And I know 3 months doesn't sound like a long time. Oh my gosh. But we learned so much about each other, about ourselves, and we want to share that with you.
So you guys know how our story began. If you've seen our How We Met story time video, we'll have that in the screen.
So if you watched that video, you guys know that we went to the same high school or from the same area. And so in high school, we just kind of assumed that we would go to the same college because there is a bigger college right next to us.
I mean, it made sense because the major I want to pursue, they have a really good college for that. And I wanted to play football there. I always dreamed of playing football there, so it made sense.
But then
one summer, I got a Twitter DM from a school I had never heard of, honestly. The coach DM'd me on Twitter and said he was from a place called Dartmouth College. I'd never heard of it before, and it sounded cool because at that time, it was the summer before my junior year and I hadn't had communication with many D1 coaches. So it was really interesting to me, but it kind of ended at that. So I go through my senior football season, and at the end of it, he starts talking to me again, and it's more serious this time, and he ends up actually visiting me at my school. When that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, and I started looking up where the school was. Turns out, this school, Dartmouth College, was a 24-hour drive away from our hometown.
yeah.
So that was like, wow. But I was so just like starstruck because it's an Ivy League school. It was D1. I was so starstruck. I was just like, wow, this is what I need to do. In that moment, I was selfish and I didn't think about her, and I was just thinking about me.
I don't want to say that you are completely selfish because that's a great opportunity.
Right.
Whether you're in a relationship or not, like, you need to do what's best for yourself. And he believed that that was best for himself. I mean, it's an Ivy League D1, like that's like, how can you get any better than that? But I will say one thing that we learned is that when he first started talking to Dartmouth, we didn't communicate as much. I got the vibe that he was like, oh cool, they want me to go, but I'm not going to New Hampshire.
But what she didn't know is that I was taking it very seriously and I was really interested in going to the school. So things progress and I ended up actually taking an official visit up there, and me and my mom went up there for a weekend and we enjoyed our time. We really liked it, and so things go on and
his football season's over.
Right.
Like, I didn't think that he was actually going to get an offer, so I was just like, wow, what a cool opportunity. But it never went through my mind like, wow, like he could move to New Hampshire.
She's right, I didn't have an offer at that time, and I took a very late official visit. But a week after I came home from that visit, I ended up getting an offer, and I was ecstatic. I was at work and the coach called me, told me he gave me an offer, and I said, okay coach, let me call my mom, let me call my girlfriend, and I'll call you right back. At that moment I knew I was gonna commit, and I called my mom, I told her I got the offer. She was excited. I called Channing and I told her I got the offer, and I could tell she was just very shocked. I mean, she was very, very shocked. And I mean, she was happy for me, but it just hit her like, this is real. And I told her I committed, and
I was shocked. I'm gonna get emotional.
It's okay, baby. Look at me, baby. We're right here together and we're the happiest we've ever been. Look, we're the happiest we've ever been.
I know. I'm crying.
Baby, we're okay. It's okay.
It just brings me back.
I know.
Can you turn off for a second, please?
Oh, come on, guys, let's get it. You gotta wake up. You gotta do it. Just do it. How do you think I bought this hat? Because I just did it one day. I woke up and I bought it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional. That just like really brought me back to that day, and I got in my feelings, so sorry. I think the reason why I got so emotional is because it took me back, and I just felt really blindsided because once again we didn't really communicate very well.
Right.
And we hadn't talked about him going to Dartmouth really
Very seriously.
No.
Not at all. Yeah. I should have communicated that I was looking at it very seriously, and I didn't. So I'm at the end of my senior year, and we knew that that summer would be our last really of me living here. So we had 7 months left, and so we tried to make it the best that we could, but it really just loomed over us.
It affected our relationship more than I thought it would. I mean, I know like having that in the back of your mind is gonna like affect it, but I didn't realize how much it would affect it. I feel like we fought more.
Yeah.
And whenever we would fight, the topic of him leaving would come up all the time in every fight. So I feel like I was just so angry. I really was in an angry state of mind at him for leaving that I just like picked fights for no reason. Would not recommend.
So we went through the rest of that 7 months together, and
we had a good summer. We went on vacation. He gave me a promise ring that summer, and that made me feel really good. Just the idea of a promise ring and what it meant, and the things that he said to me. So we, without even discussing it, we kind of knew that we were both in this.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really need to say like, are you willing to like commit?
it was a no-brainer to me. I mean,
It was a no-brainer for us, but I think I don't recommend that with any relationship, just assuming that
Right.
we're both gonna commit for the long haul. But we'll talk about that later.
but yeah, so I came over here the night before I left, and so the day came and I left, and it was instantly weird. I could tell if I felt different, because I'd been with her at that point for a little over 2 years, and she'd become a part of me. And so the instant I left, it just felt wrong. So I went there for the fall term, and she actually ended up coming and visiting me.
Yeah, so I went there on my fall break and visited Dartmouth. It is a beautiful campus, by the way. And I stayed for a little less than a week. And while I was there, he just seemed off. Well, first of all, it was weird seeing him for the first time
It
in
felt
like 2 months.
weird.
Going from seeing someone every single day to not seeing them for 2 months is really weird. And at first I was like, oh no, like we're never gonna be the same. That weirdness, it wears off after a few days. But just something was off about Jaden. He wasn't his normal like goofy self that you guys see. Like his happiness, I could tell, just wasn't where it usually is, because he's a very happy, positive person. So I brought it up to him. I could see that he wasn't happy here, and he got like really defensive.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to deny it. Like, I didn't.
Yeah, he was in complete denial. Like, even though in my heart I knew he wasn't happy, and he tried to brush it off and act like he was fine.
But in reality, I was really sad. And honestly, that was probably one of the lowest points in my life.
And I don't want to make it seem like, oh, like he's so sad because he's not seeing me.
Yeah, let's clear that up. I mean, I was born and raised here. I'm a huge mama's boy, and I honestly thought it was going to be easier than it was. And then reality kicked in, and it wasn't. After she left, I realized that she was right. I really wasn't happy, and it obviously involved her. It obviously involved our relationship. But I miss my mom, I miss my sister. I realized that my happiness was more important. And so at that moment, I started thinking about actually coming back. And over the course of a couple weeks, I talked with my family, and I decided that was the best for me, and I did it. I'm obviously back now. We go to the same college. I play football there. I'm the happiest I've ever been. We're the happiest I think we've ever been.
Yeah. And now him going to Dartmouth is just it's just a part of our story now.
Yeah.
And
it honestly helped us grow.
It helped us grow. It helped us learn about each other, and I think it made us a stronger couple.
And maybe a stronger person. It helped me learn about myself.
Me too. So that is kind of our personal experience with long distance. Everyone's story is different, but we want to share with you guys some tips and tricks that we learned in those 3 months that helped us. And yeah. Okay, so our first tip for long distance relationships is, well, as you heard earlier, you need to talk about it beforehand. And when I say talk about it, I mean talk about it a lot. Have a plan. Because we did not.
No, yeah, we just let it kind of go under the radar, and we just kind of was like, we don't want to start a fight. Like, yeah, it probably would have started the fight. And that's another sign that our communication at that time was not where it needed to be.
Yeah.
You need to be able to talk about it maturely and without fighting. I mean, obviously it's going to be emotional, but you got to have that conversation at some time.
And you know, I know how it feels. I know I was scared to talk about it because I didn't want to go there. Like, I didn't want to put myself in that mindset that he's actually leaving. So I know what it feels like, and it's going to be hard to talk about, but you have to. It's crucial.
And so the second thing that really helped us when we were long distance was planning our communication. What that really looked like was FaceTiming at a certain time in the day, like just knowing when you're going to talk to that person in the day. And again, it just goes back to communication.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that, like, assuming is dangerous
Oh
because some days, you know, he was an athlete and a full-time student, and so I would just assume sometimes that we would FaceTime that night and then something came up, and so I would get really sad because I was expecting all day to FaceTime him. So it sounds really silly, but believe me when I say, like, plan it out. Like, okay, let's FaceTime Thursday night at 8 o'clock or whatever, because one, it gives you something to look forward to, and two, it destroys any room for assumption. So our next tip depends on like the distance in your relationship. Like, for example, we had thousands of miles between us, so I would highly recommend planning the next time you're going to see each other while you're still together.
Yeah, that's
if
crucial.
that makes sense, because it always like gives you a goal, like, okay, we can make it 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks or whatever it is, instead of just thinking like long term. So that's a really big important tip.
And the next tip we have is always keep the end goal in mind. Always remember that this is not forever. This is not your normal. This is temporary. What are we doing after this? How long is this going to last? Be honest with yourself, and that'll really help.
This tip is kind of a no-brainer to me, but letters and packages help so much.
Oh my gosh, I
mean,
loved her packages.
Yeah, I know. We live in the 21st century. We can text, we can Snapchat, we can FaceTime, but there's nothing like a letter, and there's nothing like a package. I would just send him, like, you know, typical college stuff, like stuff he would need for his dorm, like snacks and stuff. And then I would send him like pictures of us and a letter, and just, it helped me feel more connected to him.
Me too.
Because, you know, obviously there's distance between you, but when you actually like get something in person, and then you get like so excited when you get the letter, and you like can't wait to open it, and it just like helps keep that like excitement in the relationship.
Yeah, that's definitely crucial, because I mean, if you're not careful, you can find yourself slipping into just being acquaintances or just being friends, and you have to remember that, you know, you guys are in love.
Lovers.
That's right. You got to remember that. So last but not least, we're gonna, you know, be real with y'all, and we're gonna say it's gonna suck sometimes. And I mean, you're gonna want to see that person sometimes, and you just can't. Depends on the distance between you guys, but we just couldn't. And so I mean, it sucks sometimes, and we had some of our lowest points as a couple during this time period. And I mean, I wasn't honest with myself about that. I was like, babe, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. I tell her that every time, when in all actuality,
we weren't fine sometimes.
And that's okay. Yeah, it's okay to not be fine.
Yeah, it's okay to not be fine.
As long as you guys handle it in a mature manner.
Right. And like me and Jaden, before he left, we looked up videos just like the one you're watching.
Single video.
We looked up every long distance relationship tips, story times, whatever video on YouTube. And I think the biggest thing now that I realize is nobody said in their video that it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Not all the time. It's gonna suck a lot of the time. It's hard. Like, obviously you want to be with your boyfriend, you want to be with your girlfriend, but I think that's the biggest thing, is know that it's not gonna be easy, but also know that that person is worth it.
Seriously. Yeah, guys, that's all we got for this video. It was obviously emotional to shoot, but I think it was good for us to get that off our chest, because telling stories help you
Relate.
I don't know. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, seriously, I mean, it meant a lot to us. This situation obviously is near and dear to our hearts, and we appreciate you guys watching it. And we just wanted to say also that if you guys are going through anything like this, don't be scared to DM us. Our social media links are always in our bio, and we love to hear from you guys about anything.
Talking to you guys.
Yeah.
I love talking to you guys.
So on that note, we want to do a couple shout outs to some loyal people. That was really weird.
We always appreciate any support that we get, but there's a few standouts that I just want to mention. I want to shout out Quinn, our girl Quinn, and I also want to shout out Alexia Rose. Girl, you are.
And quick shout out to Hannah and Taylor Tochi. Y'all are a fine couple. They just recently started a YouTube channel.
Okay.
You might find a link and you might want to click. It's Tochi.
Time.
Hey, it's Tochi. What's up?
It's Tochi time. Hey.
And shout out to anybody, like, seriously, that DMs us and supports us or comments down below.
I love you guys this much.
Every single one of you. You? No, you. No, you. Yeah, and you. And you.
Who's
and
your
you.
parent?
And you. Thanks for watching this video. Tune in again if you liked it. Like it. Subscribe if you like commitment. If you have commitment issues, I understand. Peace!